Now that we have worked out the system by hand, we have the system in here, and we want to do it with the CAMG software and see if we get the same results. So in here we have, in here you have the system. This is the bond graph model, and this is all CAMG needs. So to save time, we already entered the same into CAMG, as you can see. This is the bond graph model, and this is the same thing we have entered into CAMG. So how do we do this when we use the software? In here, once you enter the bond graph model, you're going to go to the interface to MATLAB, and here we go. And wait until the program interfaces with MATLAB. And if we don't have that, let me try to see if we can bring it back. We're having a bit of a delay here, but let me just bring it back. This is the model because it remembers. So we just go here to MATLAB and say, okay, this is what we want. And the two programs with exchange an interface there. There we go. CAMG has produced the MATLAB models. And so once you have it in here, it's up to us to define the outputs. But automatically you're going to get the A and B matrices. So let's just wait in here. This is what happens. This file, camgsym, has produced for you the equations you see here. These are the equations dq sub 6, and then you have dp sub 8, and then you have dp sub 2. All right. So the computer will actually produce this equations from this. So let's just run this and you'll see what happens. Just run it this straight out in here. It will produce the A and the B matrices. Okay, these matrices should look like the ones that we have on the screen here on the notes, like this matrices, like this A and B. In my case, I have P sub 8, Q sub 6, and P sub 2 in that order. But what happens is the program will tell you in which order it did. It did Q sub 6, P sub 8, and P sub 2. So my middle equation would become the first one in here. Seeing here, if you look on the right, this middle equation is like this one. And the Q sub 8 is the middle over here. And the P sub 2 is the one, is like exactly like this. So it's only because the CAMG put it in this order like this. Yeah, Q6, P sub 8, and P sub 2. Okay, that is the C matrix. See if you can look at this. Let's see, how do we, perhaps we'll move it over here. It's the B matrix should look exactly like it too. See, in the same order. See, there you go. But at this point, CAMG doesn't know which outputs do we want. And we said that we have F8 and E2. So what are you supposed to do? What you're supposed to do is you go in here into the file, and you're going to tell it, what was the first one? Was F2 or was the F8, right? Okay, so we're going to go and we're going to find where F8 is. So go and find where F8 is. You see the CamG already put these outputs for you. Already found those equations that we were doing by hand. So on this, you have to just activate these statements to make the first row of the C and the D matrix until it is the first output. And the second one was E2, wasn't it? Was it E2, right? So let's just put E2 in here, and CamG will find it also here, see? So activate those, and this is going to be my, see, this is 2, and then it is going to be the 2 right there. And once you have completed that, you can run it again, and what you'll have is it runs and it produces the A, the B, and in this case, the C and the D matrix. You see, I think it's important that we compare the C and the D matrix to what we have. See, this matrix in here and this matrix in there. These are 2 by 3 because, see right there? See, the second one is going to be, so this is 1 over I sub 8, only because Q sub 6 was first, but this is like this row. And the second row is this one. It's like this. And the D matrix is over here, 0, 0, 1, 0, and that's where it is, okay? So that's how you produce automatically the state space matrix using CamG. All this has been done in symbolic form, but CamG has one more feature that you need to consider. If you give some values to the physical parameters, instead of calculating those matrices with symbols, it will calculate with numbers. So let's just, for the sake of example, give some numbers to each one of these in here. Maybe 2 like that. This is the, I would put like 1 over 20 here for the C. The I, another nominal value, just basic values to see what it does. And if you run it, watch what happens. In this case, the computer will produce the matrices, the A and B, but you see now they're numbers. And the A and the B and the C and the D matrix. But it also at this point calculates the transfer functions, although we haven't talked about that yet. But what I'm trying to show you is that they will give you the impulse response as well. So we'll see. A second. So you have the it's giving us the body plots and the root locus plots, but also would gives us the uh, right there the impulse and step response of those outputs. So that's where we'll finish here this demo, because that's what we set out to do. We obtain this state space matrix, but also we obtain the input and impulse input and I mean the step and impulse response for the two outputs that we wanted. So that's how that's how you can use this file, the CamGSYM file, to produce the state space form and also produce a simulation.